Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
There's a question for Mr. Cash about the expedition. Is the expedition in Linz opened in some way, or is it closed?
As far as I know, he had indicated it was closed at this point.
Good evening. We're still shut down. The building of the exhibition center used for Corona test center is a red zone, no-go area. I think you've been there. So the whole of downstairs is taken out by Austrian military forces, doctors. You can't go into the building. And every day it's queue up hundreds of people going in to do a corona test. Everything we have is there, we just cannot go in. The big hall, about 6,000 square meters, is divided into sections. In each section there's doctors and nurses and people. It's like a cattle market. Every day thousands of people just come in, queue up to be tested.
So you don't know if this exhibition will be opened soon or something?
No, we can't even retract our systems from the building. We are as it is, we are just a frozen time capsule. The only thing more or less we're taking out, I think, is the flowers and a few bottles. We cannot go into the building because it's all locked up. I mean, it's not locked up. We can't go upstairs. And it's all corona zone. It's all full of police, what do you call it, military police. You cannot go into the building anymore. It's become a, what do you call it, red zone area.
It's sad to hear that.
Mr. Cash, I had come across a website, or not, it wasn't a website, it was actually a clip on a website, a news website, so to speak. And I would have played it today, but the gentleman seemed to be cursing a bit. I think he was an American. But he was talking about the general that was recently killed by the American. And I never knew why the general was there. He seemed to be indicating that the general was there on a peace mission, that he was working with the, and I know it's hard to tell you anything that you haven't already heard before or give you new information. You seem to be up on everything. But it seemed that he was working with the Iraqi ambassador, who had approval by the previous administration, and they were working to bring together Saudi Arabia and Iran in some sort of dialogue. And so apparently he felt it was safe to go to Iraq because the Iraqi ambassador had received that information from the previous American administration that they had approved of this sort of working together or trying to bridge between Saudi Arabia and Iran, the two different sects, let's say, of Islam. And even though we went ahead and took him out along with some of our apparent allies in Iraq and blocked that whole process. Now, I don't know if that was the ultimate reason or that he was involved in the plasma technology and so on, but he was very well respected. But I had never heard that he was there on a peace mission to bring Saudi Arabia and Iran into a type of dialogue. Would you want to comment on that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Unless you can tell me who and what you're talking about, then I can tell you what I know, but I don't know what you're talking about. So,
okay.
or which general he is talking about.
Mr. Cash, I think in the news there are reports coming out that on the 9th of the month, the Saudis and the Iranians met, and this was brokered somehow by Iraq.
That's basically the gist of what I was. And this General Soleimani was intimately involved in this, and he had came forward to be a bridge of peace.
There is a silence from both sides, as far as we can tell. But I prefer to stay very quiet because I think I know too much. You already got blacked out last weekend with my talks. The Saudis feel they've been betrayed by Israelis. And they paid billions of dollars buying systems from Israel to protect them. And whatever the word is, a deadlock, as we call it. And at the same time, Saudis could not break rank in the Arab nations as they lost one of their closest allies in the Middle East very recently, that it has put pressure on them. There's a bigger pressure now from what we call Islamic world to come together, as they've seen problems coming up in different directions, which they feel they set up. Saudis are more or less left alone nation now. They have a lot of oil money, but no power. They lost their respect in the Islamic world totally. They were blamed for loss of the most ancient cities of Syria, siding with the Americans. And more or less the new head of Saudi has has no credibility as such, and is trying to regain some forces back together after the saga of the Turkish embassy and everything else has built up one after another. And the talks between Saudis and Iranians is inevitable, because secondly, we've seen the massive losses they incurred in the war in the other side of the borders, and this Israelis guaranteed that they'll be defended, and they could not defend. And the talk is out of desperation for the Saudis than anything else. But you got to understand, Saudis always sided with the Americans and the Israelis. And now they found out after all that with Trump's and what happened, they lost everything. We will see negotiations back on. Maybe by Friday next week, we'll make an announcement on this line. But that announcement has to come through Tehran and Keshe Foundation. We become politically too hot potatoes for us, more situation we are in. And we are trying to calm the situation down in the background, but at the same time pressurizing what we want to get. It's very subtle, but the Saudis literally are cornered against the wall. You got to realize the oil prices crashed. The what we call pilgrimage to Saudi holy places are all gone. Now they literally, there is no solution left in Middle East except talking with all the nations to each other. And the biggest problem is the Islamic world looks not anymore to Saudis as an ally of Islam. This is for sure, and what we hear from underneath, money is not buying any more respect and time and place. Egypt has abandoned Saudis totally. The same we've seen with what we call other Islamic states. And this is not what they were expecting. The negotiations now is just it's just the first step, trying to buy their face back. But this is not trusted by Iran. That's for sure. It's not trusted.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
In the next weeks, hopefully we know our position in much more clearer way, and then we can take steps in a dimension to clarify a lot of things. Keshe Foundation has been betrayed at the highest level. We are keeping it very, very close to our chest. We're just warning you in the background. The news which will come out should not shock you. How we've been betrayed, how we lost Fabio, how we've been betrayed right deep inside Keshe Foundation. And part of it goes out of the same structure. Many of you will be shocked in what is to come. We are keeping it under wrap for a few more short time. And soon you will understand People inside us betrayed us in a big way. And it's of the same order of people. So we keep very, very close, very quiet. And this is what I said. Keshe Foundation has turned massively 180 degrees the way we used to be because of what has happened, and we have no more losses. And this situation is the same. We saw it in Iran. Now we have the same situation. We have people inside who betrayed us. Given as accident of the last week is the same way. But soon it'll be open up. Soon a lot of things. Soon they'll have the freedom to speak, put it this way, and openly. So I said, I accept the position, which that position comes freedom to be able to do things, but we are waiting for it to be confirmed. It needs to be confirmed. Then we move.
Will this be done before the start of the new term so that we can settle nicely and get on with things without being upset?
You shouldn't be upset. It's just that something we all knew, but we didn't know how. And now has opened itself up. It's opened itself very up. We're keeping it tight as much as we can. Very few people inside the Keshe Foundation are aware of it. And it'll shock many of you. Many of you. We realized we had, it's the same when you talk about somebody who's a peacemaker. There are people who go to the extremes to make sure things don't happen. And people next to you, they sell you out. And this is what happened. Nobody knew. Yeah. We're exploring a lot of things. We're understanding a lot of things. But as you were saying, Keshe Foundation has changed 180 degrees in a good way because we have nobody to betray us from inside. And in these negotiations, when you have somebody betrays you, they kill the man who's there to make it happen. I was discussing this situation as you talk, or you asked a question about this stuff 48 hours ago with highest level securities. But we keep quiet, very quiet.
The units in the exhibition center, can they be turned on by any means outside?
No, we have taken the systems out of the operation that because we don't know who has access to the building anymore and how. So
You don't have security cameras manning to
we
watch?
have security cameras, but we don't see. We run it as switches off, switches on. But primarily, we have taken the heart of the system out. When we shut it down, we locked it down. There is nothing there that can be stolen or. We did this about, I think, 6-8 weeks ago. We took everything out. There's just a shell left with some pieces. It's not technology they can steal.
Good.
And that technology is already obsolete, totally obsolete.
But coronavirus, what can be done for the coming period? That is also a question.
Coronavirus report is going to be released on Amazon. It's already released on Amazon Cash Foundation. I think tomorrow, as a first trial, the book number 1 will be released in Amazon with a lot of promotions outside the control of the Cash Foundation, but this is a company we have deployed to do this in 3 weeks' time. Cash Foundation. The report will go again on a worldwide publication with the same group, and we try to bring the population, what they call the publication out. The paper, or the scientific paper, received the approval of Iranian medical, what they call health authorities, about 8 weeks ago. We published the book, and now the most prestigious Iran, what we call book review, 2 days ago released the publication of the book with a beautiful peer reviewing, and now gradually is getting promoted into what we call bringing up the technology openly in public, and giving credibility to the technology, which is what was to be done by the Iranian government officials for past, God knows, years. And we did not get it through the 2 regimes, one after another. And now it has been released as called, in a way, it talks about, I'll give you the link. You can go, Iran books link bookshops is very important. What they call it, Iran Book Fair attracts up to 5 million people every year, and it's considered one of the most important book fairs in Middle East. And this, what we call Iran and IBNA, reports on the books of Iran, is one of the most influential book, what we call links in Middle East. And they released this 2 days ago on the book. It literally says that the plasma technology can be used for the corona, and the article is about the what we call corona report of Cash Foundation 2020. You can pick up the link and just go to it if you can read it. And since this published, we received more backing from the internal, from the, what they call the Iranian Sepah leadership, because now it's officially become as a book in Iran. And we'll see how it goes. It says the plasma energy has a new strength and a new thing, and it's part of the propaganda which Cash Foundation now is part of, been taken up by the officials to be shown as a new technology, breaking through technology. We saw this one 10th of February with the release of the name. Now they're trying to build, to give credibility with the technology, and then it'll build up to new things which is taking shape. So corona, we don't need to talk about it very soon. It will become part of the Iran structure in fighting the corona. but it needs to go through steps. And we won't get this support till 18th of June as long as Rouhani is in office.
What about India? Could it be used there?
You see,
Do they go to the fair?
you cannot. There is a very big problem. Now we see the split between some nations. Romania from 1st of June is open, doesn't matter whatever Corona. And I think more nations will break up the same way. We'll see more splitting in nations, opening up, irrespective of whatever it is, Corona, we take it. And I think we'll see the illnesses through Corona will take a tail end on it. But the good thing is that it has opened our eyes to a lot of other ways of new technologies. I'll keep on saying we are not the only answer. We've been asked today by the Chinese universities, which we collaborate to start collaboration, even going for the test with the herbal medicine and education foundation ganses for Corona and the rest of it scientifically to take shape. And we need support by a nation and showing up the larger scale application. Then it'll be understood. And as I said, as we are not the only groups with an answer, many groups, many people come up with many solutions. It needs the support of a nation, a government, and application, and showing it the way we done in Mahalat in Iran. And immediately, when we show the success of the GANs in Mahalat, Rouhani moved on the city immediately. Rouhani moved immediately on the city, closing things down. The report of the Keshe Foundation cannot in. They brought sanctions on all the health areas that they cannot do the test report. And we saw this building up. But now, with the change of regime, we'll see the changes to come. Because once a nation confirms it, the others can test it and they go with it. Or some universities test it and go with it. Or some ministries test it and go with it. At the moment, the publication is accepted by the Ministry of Health, but the government of Rouhani has blocked everything. You got to realize we had this with Ahmadinejad. Ahmadinejad now has, we had the same problem with the Keshe Foundation. But Rouhani, we saw Ahmadinejad on his departure, most of his ministers ended up in prison, long-term prison sentences. Yeah, the way we see Rouhani and most of his ministers will end up in long-term prisons, especially his brother. All the bribery has been transferred to his brother, and they're waiting for him to become of the station of the president, and the whole family will be arrested. And a large section of Iran blame the destruction of the energy center of the Natanz on Rouhani. He was there 2 days before. There's very big concern that he deliberately left things to be done. There are a lot of things at the moment which isn't fit into, and we have to keep out of it till it's totally done and investigated by the Iranian officials. So
He might just decide to disappear before end of term if he realizes what's coming.
they don't usually do, but now we see that's possible. There's a lot of situation inside. It's not just Iran. It's right across, as we were talking with knowledge seekers this afternoon. Where does all these guarantees European governments have given to pay the wages, 80%, 90% gonna come? Who's gonna pay this? Who has borrowed money under whose name to pay these billions and billions? And if you, the answers is very clearly if you are aware of what's happening. If you watch the funeral of Philip 2-3 days ago, a couple of days ago, yesterday, when he went to the chapel and through the whole church, you see the floor is check black and white. Illuminatis. When you look at it from the top camera, so you see the whole lot. So this is very clear which way you're going and which way things run and who's going to dominate. They own the American Central Bank now. By the look of it, they own most of the world banks through Krona, and that was the biggest game. All the nations have borrowed from them and are to the top that they have nothing to do and they will run. That was the biggest, that was the only plan of Krona. Nations locking down, no revenue, paying debts, paying bills, have to borrow it from somewhere. And we estimate about 80% of the world governments are now in the hand of Russia.
Well, Rothschild seems to be making a small investment into cryptocurrency at the moment, which rather surprised me, but how does this all figure in?
Nobody knows. But at the moment, the way we see, all the nations around the world have borrowed from them. Now they're totally in to the rim. Then they dictate the next step. All the European nations have borrowed deep from them to keep this Corona situation going because they created it themselves. And we will see all the central banks will be taken. They will run a global policy condition.
Mr. Kai, sorry. Good evening. It's Kay, London.
Yep.
My apology. I have a feeling this has got a lot to do with the special drawing credit that they have planned up, and the IMF has been dishing out all this credit in order to get rid of dollar and create a new world reserve currency, as dollar has been somewhat hampered and is about to lose its prestige as a world currency. So they have created this special drawing right, which is IMF releases it or prints it out, and this way the entire world, just what you just said, the entire central bank in the world will owe IMF all this money, but it is in exchange of dollars. So that way they will replace the dollar with the special drawing right, which IMF has been producing. I think this is what you just said, and that's how they're going to control the entire world's central bank. Yeah, they killed two.
They already achieved it. The Krona is the brainchild of the Rothschilds, and now they achieved it. They're more or less another 6 months. All the nations will break off from Krona. And the only thing is left, the governments go, we had to borrow, so we borrowed, and this is what it is, we borrowed from. So all borrowed from the same guy in the top. And more or less we'll get one world central bank operation very soon, next 12 months. It looks like it that way, or in a hidden way they operate that way.
The greatest theft humanity has ever witnessed, as if creating a Federal Reserve wasn't big enough.
But but there is a technology that can respond to this. You can have all the apples stacked up in room, nobody can get to it, but it's no use if you plan that you control the apples because you stacked everything in, not knowing that everybody now can produce their own apples in a simple way. This is one of the biggest mistakes of the restaurant. They're on this platform, they're listening to what I'm talking about, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. The agents is sitting amongst you here. They made the biggest mistake, but we'll talk.
Mr. Cash, may I ask you something? Hello,
Yes,
can you hear? On 22nd April will be the day of the planet. I have received a message from some a network of poets from Italy that the Pope is involved on it, and maybe other organization. I don't know. I just asked them, please tell me who is the organizer. And I would like to ask you, they collaborate with you or not?
no, we don't know anything about it.
No, I see. Yeah, they brought ideas and now they do by themselves. It's interesting because they have all the ideas of Cash Foundation. Maybe it's a common knowledge, but anyway. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cash, can I ask a strange question to you?
Yes, everything is strange in this chat room.
Do we have any big natural disaster in the earth?
Pardon?
And do we have any natural big disaster in the earth?
I don't understand. Natural disaster?
Yes, maybe something is coming from cosmos or something.
Yes, a human being themselves. The biggest disaster for mankind is the mankind himself. But no, not as far as we know. The point is that trying to be very politically correct and diplomatic in sense. The knowledge, which was the biggest fear of many of these people, has been is in the hand of the people. When you make a jigsaw, all the pieces of the jigsaw are on the table. It's you who's got to put them in the right way for the picture to appear. With what we have put on the table, the jigsaw is there to be completed. And once one of the knowledge seekers or us show us the last piece to put in, the jigsaw will be complete. And that's the biggest fear of many world leaders and governments at the moment. Who will put that last piece in?
I feel like that too.
And you got to understand, we always said, if you understand the position, and we're waiting for nearly 3 weeks for this last piece to be put in the position. And I know this is the last piece. Once that last piece is fit in, many things will crumble. Many things will crumble in so many manners, and a new cycle will manifest itself. We explained the 21st of March and the change of 21st of April, and we are waiting for that jigsaw. You know, it's just that you hold the jigsaw back to front. We are waiting for it to be flipped. Once it flips, the whole structure will take shape. We're just waiting for it to be flipped, which will release the knowledge beyond, makes present financial world obsolete. Armies will collapse, and we'll see the beginning of the world peace in a very different way. But we're waiting for that flip, because it has to come. It has to come within, not from outside. And that's within we are waiting for to take the shape.
You said one knowledge seeker. That leaves somebody with a very big job.
Yep. Don't forget, we are all knowledge seekers.
So you count yourself as one.
We're all knowledge seekers. I always said I'm a knowledge seeker.
Well, I'll keep myself out of this realm, so definitely should be you, Mr. Cash. I mean,
I'm out of it a long time ago.
it can't be.
Don't count me in. The position is that humanity has matured. Unlike what we think, humanity has matured. It's just that, you know, you have the ship, a huge tanker, and it's just one little tiny rope here and there which is holding it to the harbor. Otherwise, all the big ropes have been taken off. They're waiting for the last couple of dingy ones to go after these sails. We are in that position, and the knowledge is there, and the hunger for it to create a change is there. And once is released, it will change a lot of things for humanity. I was talking to the management of the Keshe Foundation in the past few days. We merge in a different way the Keshe Foundation in the next few days, out of a lot of ways. We are setting up a new way the Keshe Foundation knowledge become usable by every man and reached by every man. And the structure for it is getting set up in Iran. We have received a huge support from the Iranian, what they call leaderships, and We're setting a structure within coming weeks, a base that all the world scientists, or everyone across this planet, will be able to tap into one network. Any languages, to access to the knowledge in every shape or form. The biggest revolution in what we call network technology has started in the name of the Quechua nation. You will see it. The structure we see with Microsoft, there'll be a dust in it.
Mr. Cash, sorry.
Yes. And this structure will allow all the teachings, all the new developments, all the technological achievements coming up and being there. And what we said, knowledge at the fingertip of every man, space technology, plasma will be structured up. And it needed a nation to set it up, not the organizational company. And we have received that backing and the structure. You will see it developing very rapidly next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and then gradually taking shape internationally. And it's just a teaching platform and a scientific platform. And when it comes, what the science and technology will bring.
Mr. Cash, sorry, would it be fair to assume that you have used your universal computer in order to achieve this, or is it that's based on the Iranian supercomputer?
It is based on Iran advanced, what we call scientists.
God bless them.
We have received a huge support. And as I said, Iran will become the center of the new knowledge and technology. The beauty of it is it will be freely accessible by every man, unconditionally, and is paid and looked after by the Iran as a nation. This is what we've been waiting for 15 years to receive the backing. And now we have received the unconditional backing of the Iranian leadership. We're not political, purely scientific teaching, and everything else we wanted, Wikipedia, the whole caboodle of the Quechua nation, what we have, education site, live teachings, conferences arranged for 1 million viewers at a time, live online. You will see the structure. The first people for this structure have already been brought in and are working. Then it comes a very big question is that how much Rothschilds want to keep gold and how much gold we can give them. All of you can walk with a pocket of gold and pay with it. Would they have any more value? The control will go out of the financial control, out of the institutes into the hand of man. But you have to be able to deliver technology and science for it, and those who will support for it to go through.
Mr. Cash, sorry, going back to what you were referring to as the final piece of puzzle and a flip is needed, is it fair to assume that you're waiting for the Mitra soul to really appear in one's knowledge seeker?
It already has.
It already has. God bless you. Thank you.
Mr. Kesh, can I share a small dream with you?
Yes.
Few months ago, when I woke up in the morning, a whole night I feel I was seeing dream or in the dream, but I slept whole night. In the morning time, when I woke up and sit on the bed, and when I saw my feet, I feel it is the most beautiful feet in the world, and I feel like that 1,000 years I didn't had any feet. It is the first time I saw a feet, and it is beautiful, so beautiful. And then my hand and everything, like 2 hours, I feel totally different. I can explain you how beautiful I was that 2 hours. And then 2 hours later, it's gone back, regular stuff. And then I feel that time, if I hadn't had any food in my home, if my clothes is dirty, or I didn't have any home, anything, just poor and like a dust, still I was so happy that way. This technology is some way, the technology is changing us that way, our mind and our body and our feeling, everything. I didn't say it to proper way, but you understand, I thought, I think, right?
Are we still there?
Yes, I'm waiting for you.
I didn't understand what you're asking exactly.
The new technology would be like that. Our mind will be that state, and everything will be good. No war, nothing.
You
And
see,
everybody.
I explained in past few weeks that I have found peace and happiness. And in that process, it's the limitation and expectation of what you call peace and happiness. And what and how we see this. In so many ways, I explain this one in a very simple way. You know, we've been promised as human beings that the time will come of the land of milk and honey, if you understand what I mean. It's been promised in the holy books that the time will come that it will be the time of milk and honey, that everybody will have everything. In a simple way, that time has come. Not for a few, but for the totality of human race. And we are just about to deliver that cycle. I cannot put it in any more better way than this.
I understood. Thank you. I understood.
In a way, what has been the promise of the time, we will fulfill in a very short time. I never made this comment, never made such a disclosure, but what was promised to be the time of milk and honey, and the time will come that so many things will happen That cycle has started. And no world leader, no one can stop the process. So what you ask, it's very simple to answer. We have reached the point, mankind has reached that point of turning by what you call in English language by grace of God or by the cycle of time. We have reached that point. And to become land in the time of milk and honey, as we call it, it has to be for everyone equal. It has to be the same for every being. And we have started that process. What has been promised to come, to deliver, now we can deliver. It's not a hesitation to be, it will come. The process has started.
Thank you very much.
There'll be no king, there'll be no one, no man higher than the other. The kingship has started. And in a way, it had to come from inside that we could witness it, and it has come from inside. What you call the angel of death of kingship has landed, and it's landed by their own conduct and nobody else's. And in the coming time, in a very short time, we will see the collapse of the religions and the kingships. And that kingship, even in the financial world, will bring an end to a lot of things. But just need a few more short time.
I am waiting for that.
Don't need to wait, has already arrived.
Yeah, it started. Thank you.
Will this be one event or many small events to come to this?
It's now a totality of combination. We are on the verge of a major breakthrough in a lot of ways. And what we promised to fulfill, we have fulfilled.
Thank you.
As I said, and made it very clear with comments, what we were waiting for, the soul of Mitra is amongst us and has arrived. So we wait for the process to complete.
Mr. Kesha, thank you very much.
I think your microphone got excited.
I think something arrived. I want to thank you very much for attending today. Your presence is always more than welcome, and it's a real honor to serve. I appreciate also the entire international community who's attended today as well and allowed us to make this presentation. So I want to sign off on that and pass it over to you, Mark. And we're certainly looking forward to your more gems of information and progress on this journey, which is from the Canadian point of view is very, very difficult. But that's a very selfish point of view. You have to look at it on the world scale, raise our schemes and our horizons. And with your assistance, I think we're all succeeding. Thank you so much.
I guess we're all lost in the maze of the knowledge.
Yes.
Is it time to quit our day job and not have to worry about our credit score anymore?
Not yet.
Depends which bank you're banking with.
All roads lead to the Rothschilds, don't they, in the bank, the conventional banks? But we may start an entirely new sort of financial, or I guess there won't be any financial system.
The thing is, does money exist in this space?
No.
Ask a simple
Nobody
question.
works. You said nobody worked. This is the only planet
Nobody works,
people
but-
work.
But we work because we enjoy working. We don't work because we have to feed ourselves working.
I like that.
In the
idea.
space, nobody is sitting around waiting to be fed. And the same. The whole universe, people are busy. It's not that you're born and that's it, with a golden silver spoon in your mouth. Everyone, everything is in a cycle of motion and development. It's not that I sit and I'll be fed. You get fed up sitting and doing nothing. I don't know if you ever had that experience. You don't have to do anything and that's it. When I was 26, 27 more or less, I became wealthy enough. And I went home and I said to my mom, I've given up, I'm not working anymore, I have enough. My mom said, boy, you're only 27, what do you mean? I said, I have gathered enough, I don't need to work anymore for the rest of my life. She said, I'll give you a very short time, you'll be back in the office working because you cannot sit idle, doesn't matter what you have. Didn't take more than a handful of weeks, less than a handful of weeks. I was back in the office again and working. And my mom said, I told you, you cannot sit. Doesn't matter what you have, life has to go on. You'll be busy with something. And It's the same in the universe. We'll research, we develop new knowledge of the creation. And that's the beauty of it. It's not that there's no bank account. I have not seen any banks anywhere in the universe. Haven't seen any notes. When people come from another planet to us, they don't come with a check card, credit card, and the machinery for you to cash. How did the man get to it? It's a different story. But when you leave Earth as the passengers of these spaceships, I promise you one thing. In no place in the universe, anyone will ask you for a credit card. If your card is valid, can you pay for it? Everything is free. How mankind's got himself to this dilemma, we don't know. But there are no credit cards, no cash machine, no, what do you call it? Any facilities that you go hungry if you don't have it. You have everything you want, free of charge. And as I said, in a very direct way, I cannot say it any other way. Mitra is amongst us. She is alive. If you would have asked me yesterday, I said I would have not known. I don't know yet, I cannot confirm. But tonight, standing here, being here, and having the knowledge I have in my position, she's amongst us. The cycle of peace for mankind has started.
Is Mitra sort of like a smell or a fragrance that everyone will, I mean, I'm just using it as an
The
analogy.
emotion that will feel it,
Yeah,
the love that we will touch. I have devoted my life to it to serve her, and she's amongst us.
Mr. Kesh, Mitra is the soul of all messengers of God, included us. We can also be messengers.
You can interpret it any shape or form you like.
She is part of our soul. Mr. Kesh, I don't listen you. I don't hear you, I mean.
I have nothing to say. You have to understand what I've said.
Oh, yes. Any shape and any form. I understood. And we are in connection with her at the soul level. We feel with the soul if we are aware she's here. When we feel love, is Mitra. Love and compassion for everybody. We love everybody, even they made something wrong, we love them. This is a power of love of God.
Well, it's nice to know the entire world is going to have a much easier future than this work-a-day, donkey work type of situation. Maybe the leisure time would be an area that could be availed by many people on the planet. Leisure time or games or maybe some sort of win-win sporting events. I'm not sure where we're going to actually go.
You see, let me explain to you something. What do you call it, leisure or leisure in American? Is not being on the beach and having what do you call it, tequila or a sunrise tequila next to you and whatever. That comes from servitude. In serving unconditionally and without question. That's what we call leisure time in the language of the universal language. So what you call, what is not sitting there and all the bills paid, as if you look at it this way, the time you die, do you pay all your bills? Do you go first to a bank? They say, okay, have you paid all your taxes? Have you paid your telephone bill, electricity bill? Did you pay the corner shop? And then when you have a clear sheet, they say, okay, now you can die. We don't have this facility. We don't have such a condition. So, and it's not there. If you have a surplus money, you can have a holiday because unless you don't have the money, you cannot pay for the holiday. This leisure time, this peace time, is for everyone at the same time. And as I said, and if you go back to some maybe 8-10 years ago, I said there'll be a chaos. People will abuse it like nothing because they cannot believe it's been given to them. Take a few months and then they will settle. They will settle. It's not that it's all going to be. Those who don't have it will create mayhem because they can't believe they'll be in such a condition and position. But would they find a pleasure on a television or a camera or a mobile phone, the latest, or they find in understanding the process of being the travels of the space? How do you value it? And which way do we value it? This is what it is. This is what we call the leisure time. This is the time of what we call the peace dividend. And the process has started. There is no way it can be stopped.
So going to space and coming back, would there be amusements or you wouldn't? I know you said many won't come back. And you also have said that the governments or the leaders would possibly have to limit the amount of people going into space to prevent like a total depopulation of the planet. I'm just thinking of leisure time or amusement parks or something. Again, you just said understanding and going into space. But why are the souls lined up to come back here, to come in? Do they get bored in space, or do they just want to have another experience in the physicality after so much time, a million years, whatever? Is it just another cycle they're going through?
We all go through this cycle. We all go through this understanding, we all go through this process, and nobody can stop this process anymore. In a way, it's a cycle of the completion as it started. And as I said, we have no control over it, because in a way, all of us were born in this time and the space, and our ancestors, for us to be in this time and the space for this point. It's not that somebody happened to be, we're all destined to be.
But it's obviously, if you're teaching 1 million students at a time, it's still going to take some amount of time, unless the planet is sprinkled with some universal dust or something that everybody elevates. And I know you said there would come a time when we all would understand pretty much equally what the others understand.
The point is, now we understand the process, and we have the confirmation of the cycle. So we'll take that step. We go through the process of change in the way in comprehension, to understand more, to be able to facilitate more, to be able to be part of in a bigger dimension. And that's where the change is coming in.
So you may not want to be involved with the old house and the old job and the old neighborhood that you used to be in. There's bigger or grander horizons and more to see and learn in the universe.
In a way, the neighborhood from next block and next city and next country now has become next planet, next solar system, next galaxy. If the man realizes the knowledge.
It's amazing. We like the way you think and plan. Or is it plan and think? We're humbled and privileged to be with you and near you and understand and try and comprehend you and the knowledge. I think I can speak for everyone on that matter, or we wouldn't be here right now.
In a way, we are all privileged to be at this time and point in space. The point of the change, the point of the manifestation of the change has completed the cycle. And that's where the beauty will come. That all of us will change. Or maybe we needed the cycle of Corona to become less dependent, become more detached, accepting that we can live without job, we can stay home and still live.
You said at one point that we would be serving one another and that we'd run out of people to serve. We'd get bored or something. There'd be no one left to serve because everyone's serving everyone else. Is that when we then move out of this dimension, let's say?
I think we have already entered this phase gradually with Corona, and we'll see the changes to come very fast.
I know you know what's ahead, just as you knew that the corona would be part of this process of people accepting the technology out of fear of their own demise. Not out of the love of the technology, but it will lead into that. So it's all good. I'm glad to be part of it. And being part of it, I become part of the totality. But I still think on my own part, my knowledge is rather low. And hopefully we...
Our knowledge is low.
Yeah.
The thing is, we collectively will learn. One of the biggest things we got to learn as a race is that no one is above the other. And we still work to do. And we will see the end of what I call kingship, not as a king and palaces, but as one being above the other. And this is the biggest point for humanity. You see, when you look at a beehive, nobody votes for a queen. Selection and selective process of whatever will facilitate the totality will rule. Collective consciousness of everyone, that will be the queen that can serve all of us. There is no voting right. There is nobody's going to make a election broadcast. And this is that kind of way that we choose our own, and the only king for us is our soul, nobody else.
So the days of us feeling intimidated or us intimidating others will cease to exist?
More or less, yeah.
Hmm.
I set out this policy in a very direct way, and it will become more or less the national policy, is that, as I said, if you understood the gravity of what was set out in the background of all the talks, all the teachings in the past few weeks, is that we will walk away from the negotiation. We do not accept any of the what we call sanctions, because what we are sanctioned for, we teach freely. In a way, we let the man to sanction himself. And it's really the pattern of the work from now on. We choose in a process of understanding how to bring the change in a very positive way. I can see in a very short time coming, the Pope will put his hat down. There'll be no Pope, no Vatican. We'll see most of religious leaders around the world will put their hat down. That'll be one of the first things, accepting the superiority of the presence of Mitra. We'll see the end of the kingships, where people, by understanding of the soul of majority, will serve, they don't rule. We won't have rulers, we won't have presidents as such. We have people very much like members of Universal Council who serve and try to accommodate people in the organizations. And this is the way we facilitate. This is the way it has to be. Seat of position does not give the seat the right to the seat to do what I like. It gives a seat that I serve the best I can. These all will change. Well, I say next 5 or 10 years, and if the things go the way we think, we hope, maybe sooner, when Filipov, the last block of jigsaw puzzle turns, we'll see the beginning of the new cycle. When we are waiting for it. It's been on the horizon, it's been processing, and once it appears, it shows its head, many of you will know. You will feel it, you feel the change. And we are in that process. We literally are in that process. There is no way it can be held back. As I said, we have entered the final phase of end of the present behavior of mankind. We shall see.
And we shall see.
We'll learn a lot.
Anyone else want to add anything or inspire? Make a point?
I would like to make a point.
Sure.
We are happy only when we serve others. I never been a chief of anything. I never give orders. I only serve people, and I don't know how is to to don't serve, like to be something which give orders and like this. I never been in their position, but I think that they are not happy to do like this. It's happy. You are happy only when you are able to give happiness to others by helping them, giving them from your soul energy, giving them what they need. And I believe that Mr. Cash is right when he's telling that Mitra is here and she will help the rest of humanity to serve each other. This is the only way to become a soul, to become a system. We are a system integrated, but we have to be aware and work like the nature works, because we are part of the nature. We are not separated from the nature. This is our nature to be noble. We was born noble. Why we struggle for power, to control others? For why? Which reason to control other lives? It's not correct, and our soul will judge us if we want to impose on others. We don't have this right. We have to respect autonomy of each person, and if we can protect them. We can be co-creators of the paradise on the earth if we want. And Mitra will help us because she came here, she's present. Look around, many people struggle for making peace. Other people struggle for making wars. But they will not achieve this goal of making wars and sell their military capabilities and so on, because Mitra is here, and we have to believe on her, trust on her, and ask her the help and to bring us the hope that we can make from the earth a better place, a peaceful place, a place like in the universe and in the unicos. We don't have to lose our hope. If we lose our hope, it's a sign that we lose our belief in our soul, in Mitra, which is part of our soul. Let's love Mitra. Let's ask her to help us, all the planet. To elevate our soul. I wish you happiness, love, and peace. I love you. I hope you feel this. And I can feel you now. Much love.
Fried would like to know, how can we, as knowledge seekers, best support or help speed up the process? I don't know if we can speed it up or it just has to happen at the right time. Timing is very important. I know if you put something in the oven and you want to heat it up faster to cook it faster, it usually doesn't come out in the right way. And I know Mr. Kesh has said this before as well, that timing, and we must be patient and things will come along as the universe conducts itself.
Understanding your potential and what is your capability to do. That is more important.
Jalal, would you like to mention the deciphering class tomorrow morning? Jefferson has put something into the chat, and we're going to be opening up the.
Keep it secret.
No, we don't want to keep it a secret. We need, as he just said, we learn from each other. So
Yeah.
the more we have in the class, I think the more we may learn from each other. And
From
again,
tomorrow,
nobody sees anything the same way. Everybody's in a different position and different time. But I think we're going to be coming closer to getting on the same page.
from tomorrow, we will open the public workshop of Mr. Cash to deciphering. Tomorrow we will understand more.
And this is in a,
Can we get an auto transcript of it, please? Somebody out there.
If you come, maybe we will have, but you sleep you stay all the night and you sleep in the morning. So what can we do?
It doesn't rest with me.
I think those translating systems will be coming, and maybe you have to publish it or bring it up on YouTube, and that could be a problem first, and then you get the I don't know how all that works. But if you said, Yvonne, that we haven't seen a translation or a YouTube system do it in the last few, there
You
must be a
guys,
reason.
you cannot keep a secret. We are doing it in the background. Nobody knows we are doing that. Even the Cash Foundation. Hey, you put it in the public. What can we do now?
All the knowledge seekers teaching from the 100 teaching, and more or less all the One Planet, One Nation has been transcribed fully. And the Keshe Foundation is in possession of it. One of the knowledge seekers systematically, without anyone knowing, has transcribed every single teaching over past years. And she has gifted it to the foundation in past few days. What we were asking for people to transcribe is fully transcribed. Every single teaching, every public teaching, and One Planet, One Nation has been fully transcribed. We are not behind anything, and we have received this gift and is in the hand of it's in the position of the Keshe Foundation. Then it will be continued to be done by this person. So the transcription at this moment, we are up to date fully, and we received this gift very recently, and we received a full download of all the transcriptions. And if you have anything which is not in public, any of these two, you have to find a group to transcribe it. We have a transcribing group who are doing it, but if we fall short, this person has done it without anyone knowing, devotedly for past 7 years, and we are in possession of the full transcription up to the last week. Both One Planet, One Nation and Thursday teaching, which we were trying to back up to get up to and find wherever it is. Now we have full transcription of from 100 teaching to 374, 75, and more or less all the One Planet, One Nation has been transcribed. We are in position of the Keshe Foundation is in position of the full transcription of both sessions. So if you're transcribing, you have to do for this session is all private sessions which you put on.
What a professional, what a gift. Was her name Mitra?
That sounds too good to be true. Really, that does.
Yeah, she has worked devotedly for 7 years. and we have received full downloads. Is in hand of the, we have physically in possession of the transcription.
These are auto or these are word for word what is said?
It is word by word. It's been done that way, as far as we understand. We are going. The Keshe Foundation team will go through it in the coming days, and it's done word by word by the person. We
Must
will.
be super fast.
Yeah, works. Apparently, she has worked weekly, day in, day out, doing all of them devotedly.
My thanks to her.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we elevate her soul.
We need time ourselves to go through it. We have received a full folder, and Keshe Foundation team has to literally go through it, section it out, and whatever. And it'll be going on most probably on our what we call the channels being set up in Iran. We will get people to sort it out. But at the moment, she's transcribing everything word by word, all both sessions. Nothing missing as we've been told, and we have in our position. As I said, there are many people we don't even know are doing so much work in the background around the foundation. And when we say there are millions of people doing things, every day we see new things, every day. Today, since this morning, I've come to know that a government has issued a PhD in one of the major universities in effect of GANs on agriculture. The gentleman is getting a PhD and he's got in touch with us. I'm doing my PhD on the GANs and I need full help from the foundation. So we have put a team to support governmentally, sponsored in a 3-year research on a PhD into effect of GANs on 2 types of vegetation. And apparently there is more of it coming up from these universities.
Mr. Cash, there is a lot of people which they applied to the private teaching since 3-4 weeks, and until now they didn't receive the proving for their application.
All be done in the next few days. This is security check. There's a lot of traffic going through the Keshe Foundation. We have a lot of security check. There's a lot of things going on. Keshe Foundation has literally turned upside down, inside out. As I said, we couldn't understand how we were getting blocked. We were overshot before we moved. We were preempted all the time. Now that the main person has gone out of the Keshe Foundation for months, now we see it, how it was done, how it is going done, and we restructured it. And the Keshe Foundation, in restructuring, has achieved a lot. And you will see a lot of things. The traffic has immensely grown on the foundation. Application has grown up, and we have a lot of what we call positive movement, and we try to catch up. But next 2 weeks, most of these will be cleared and go through. Don't forget, we have a huge number of members of the television coming in. They have to be security check cleared. We have a number of structures being set up in different parts of the world. They need to be checked out. And these are the part of the whole process.
It is the sunrise as the picture.
Yep. This is a process. We are we are expanding in a very rapid way. And since past few months, 3, 4, 5 months, a number of organizations and groups who are working around the Keshe Foundation have put their head out to say, we are knowledge seekers now, we want to bring that a step in. And we see that. And so it's created a lot of things. It's like the television channel. We said we started from 21st of March. Everything is getting backed up. And hopefully within the next 24 hours, as I said, by 21st of April, we'll go full value, full time. Now this week, you see all the television programs will start getting loaded, advanced loading for weeks, all has started. So you will see, as we said, by 21st of April, the full opening of the television channel. The teething problem, everything had to be learned. What we call advanced recording, some people had to learn. All has been done, and the number of programs will go unloaded. So as we said, 21st of March will be officially, everything is online. You can just see the channel opening up and the programs to go on. We need much more people, as now we realize, but as I said, it's a process we are getting ready for. We have a huge push for, we see the books as a way for knowledge to be spread. So we have employed what we call a well-known organization to bring the books into public in the next 6 months, to make it bestsellers where people can see and understand. And you will see that will happen. It's the same thing with the products of the Keshe Foundation. And it's not easy to set these things up. After what we had, it's very hard to trust people who we can trust, that we can leave certain directions to, and more people who've been around have come out and they start helping to set up new structures and new ways. And this is one of them, security checks is sitting on our book and it has to be done. But priority goes to the television station. There's about 50, 60 of them and growing every day. They have to go through clearance, security clearance. Then the emails have, for each one of them has to be set up. And groups, emails, television centers has to be set up. It's all taking time and energy. Plus, we're moving a lot of things and you see new features and it's all part of the progress.
There will be no time to sleep.
Plenty of time to sleep. Centuries of it.
Well, this is great. I think a lot of the uncertainty about the Keshe Foundation and the direction it's going and what was going to happen here or there is being slowly sorted out. So it's
we were always preempted for years. We couldn't understand before we do something, it was blocked or something moved on. And now it's opposite. Everything is getting done because nobody is there to preempt, to block. They were handed information prior to anything we do. We lost Italy the same way. We lost Ghana the same way. We lost many positions the same way. Then we couldn't understand how we were getting preempted. And now, if I tell you, we try to don't do anything for it and don't say anything with it, but you've seen the change. Everything now is on a super speed. Everything is flying everywhere. Keshe Foundation, everywhere possible was getting damaged, uprooted from the top, that the bottom couldn't work. They were beheading us right on the top, and it was very systematic. And now we see it's gone. It's not there. There's nobody to preempt us. We were sold out every day on a daily basis. And when you find out what has happened, and I'm sure most of you will understand exactly how we've been sold out. I was accused of a lot of things, and you always go for this, you go for that, and you accuse. Now we don't need to. Everything is so black and white, it's all set there. A lot has become clear how it was operated. And as I say, we keep very quiet. We have to keep quiet for a while, till a lot of measures are taken by a couple of governments. This is a very high, it's not just in the hand of the Keshe Foundation. And you will not, I'm sure a lot of you will be shocked, but a lot of you would not be shocked. But when you understand what has happened, then you will understand how we've been sold out, right in the center. Whatever we invested was blown out without us having anything. We did everything correct. But they knew how to hit us. Where they knew exactly, because they were sitting right in the center. They were listening to every conversation, knew what to hit.
Mr. Cash, what is the reason? Is it short-sighted, or they didn't believe in what they have in their hand?
No, it's a greed.
It's only a greed.
To own and possess. It still goes on. It still goes on. It still goes on. It's the greed and wanting to own everything, and being in control of and going to bed with anyone to get there. Literally, physically going to bed with anyone to get there. But this is over, it's just done. It took us 6 months to readjust, and now we are moving very fast in a very good direction. You've seen even the product delivery has all gone more or less, come up to scratch where we used to be. Everything, the factories are all on a speed run. The biggest problem we have, the expansion is fast, and we are trying to catch up with it. I mean, it's not the expansion, everything has become so correct that we need to keep up and to do it. We have increased the number of staff around the world drastically in past 2 months. Everywhere is fully manned, which we couldn't do because they used to go and uproot us before we do. The Chinese workforce will increase to several hundred in the next 2-3 months. The workforce in Mexico, which is part of the global MACRE, will increase drastically in the coming weeks. Mexico will go for a full operation as part of the MACRE cooperation. Austria is going to a full operation, and we'll see. We couldn't do these things because we were preempted and they were blocked, and all sorts of problems created. Now we don't have somebody who was inside who was selling us out. We'll see.
Mr. Cash?
Italy, pardon.
Sorry.
Italy will be opened up very soon. We are negotiating with the officials, with the government to get that sorted. Nigeria is opening. We transferred everything from Ghana to Nigeria is on its way to Alex. It will become the headquarters of Africa. And more or less, we'll see. We announced new directions for Keshe Foundation and knowledge seekers around the world in the next few days.
in Romania, the condition to open is to make vaccination. I make a little research, and the Prime Minister said like this, that we will vaccinate, we'll open everything. Do you have other informations?
No. We go according to what comes from the Romanian Cash Foundation people. As far as we know, Romania is opening up unconditionally at the moment in June. We see other companies. UK has opened up partially. We'll see opening up. Commercially, governments cannot sustain these kind of losses, tax losses. And we'll see.
Mr. Kesh,
Yes.
sorry, another strange question. We are putting a lot of responsibility to the Mitra. If she is scared, it is okay or not?
We're talking about the soul of existence, not in the dimension of physicality.
So it is okay, right?
Everything's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
It's all very good. Is there anyone else who'd like to add anything at this point? I know it's, we've been here about 5.5 hours. And not that that matters totally, but I know it's past Yvonne's bedtime, maybe not. Is there anyone else who'd like to add anything, or we will? It's great, Mr. Kesh, when a plan comes together finally. And again, the timing was just right. And right on time. As you said, with the scientific report, it'll be released right on time.
One thing which we explained on Thursday, and again, most of you are sitting in under many hats in the foundation, different way of your work. We have opened the structure of the Cash Foundation, especially the main program, for you to interview or bring your scientists and eminent politicians or whatever to make interviews and around the table discussions. Does not need to be in the English language. You can do it in your own language, that your what they call language, mother language followers will follow the conversation. There's a misunderstanding by a lot of knowledge seekers that these interviews will do with the eminent scientists or politicians or whatever they are trying to sort out will be in English or has to be done by me or somebody else. These are set for you. Use the Cash Foundation Center to book a time that you can bring them in and you do the discussion in your own languages. Does not need to be in English, and add it as part of the program into your language section. So I think there's a misunderstanding that there are about 200 scientists ready to be interviewed or would like to be in the discussion. These have to be in your own mother languages by you. You have to present people who do this. And we bring it up more in the presentation and discussion in the groups. Don't think that it has to be by one person only in English. It has to be done by you. Romanians have done 2 of them up to now, we know. And it has to be more or less the way they do. The Iranians did the first one. There is a new one coming up by others. So please, tell your people that these interview discussions or roundtable discussion of 4 or 6 scientists and politicians, it should be done in your own local language, in your national language. And if in a larger scale, we get involved.
Mr. Kesh, I have a a scientist from Ukraine, and he is married in Romania and friend with his wife. He doesn't speak English, he speaks only Russian. Maybe we can use Mr. Radu Babani, Radi.
If it is Russian, you have to speak to the Russian language. He has to speak to the Russian language people to speak to.
Yes.
That way we don't interfere. Russian language is growing. They have now about 450 people in their group. They are vetting everyone one by one who comes in. It's not like the other channels that people get added. Russians are very well controlling all the incoming members. They've been on for about 3-4 weeks, and now there is about 450 people plus. And they're vetting everyone before they become a member, and the Cash Corner team with them, that they have no mishaps. And they have to be spoken with and done through that.
And to put in connection with Radi Babanu from,
I don't know people, I don't know.
because I don't know other person from Russian speaking community. I know only
It's got
him.
to be done. It's got to be done through the groups. That's why we set the groups. We don't get involved in these things.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes. I believe you, because I also was accused by something, and
I
people
don't want to go
ask,
through this. Please,
yes,
please, can you stop the discussion? You
yes,
have your
of
own,
course.
you create some of the problems for yourself, and we are watching a lot of things happening. You have to understand what's happening. We don't get involved in
Yes,
communities.
yes. But he apologized, and it's okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I don't want to get involved in these things. It's not our place. Thank you very much, Alex, and the rest of the team. It's a beautiful program you have set up. The way you run this Friday programs with Mark and all of you. We hope we can help you and support you in a better way, in a bigger way as we go along.
Yes, if it wasn't for the international community, this meeting would appear to be quite small. I think if we had a show of hands, maybe it's 10% of the actual participants, but I know this will grow over time, as it will around the rest of the world as well. The Americans seem to be a little bit jaded and think they don't need anything else except what they have.
I think they listen afterwards. They have the comfort of not being there on a Sunday. They'll have the Sunday walks on Sunday, whatever.
True.
And then listen to it on a Monday. So that's your disadvantage in some ways with it.
But thank you, Mr. Kesh, for adding such a beautiful flavor to every meeting you go into. And
very much. We try to share knowledge and in a way to serve.
You do.
We'll see how it comes, but what we see, a lot of things has changed in a very positive way, thanks to all the knowledge seekers. And we see now people who we never knew coming out. They've been knowledge seekers for years. They've been following the technology for years and years, and now it's taking shape and root everywhere around the world. And I think once we cross that line, as I said, the last block of the chip of the jigsaw turns in the coming time, we'll see a lot of people openly will come. They don't need to, they just being there as a followers or listening to me, adding to knowledge. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all your work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else want to say goodbye or well wishes? Anything else? I know it's been a long meeting. So what I'll do is just bring up this screen here. And, oh, that wasn't the one I did want for some reason. I guess it kept playing. But let me go back to over here where we were. And just to say, this is an invitation to become a Universal Council member or a Universal Council supporter. You can go right here to the Kesh Foundation. You can apply. Background information about the Universal Council can be found in the UC Charter and UC Mandate on the homepage of the UC. The decision to join will be made by your soul. Apply as Universal Council member for the open language positions. Each country has one. Apply as a Universal Council support member, which there can be an unlimited number in any language. And I think for Universal Council members, the actual Universal Council member, the cutoff age is 60 years old. So if you're 60 or above, you need not apply. But if you're 60 or above, you can always become the Universal Council supporters in any language. So you can go here, you can apply, and find out more about it. And that's your decision. The decision to join will be made by your own soul. So thank you very much for being here today. It's been the Kesh Corona team in English. I'll play the final disclaimer and the meeting will end. Another
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful meeting. Thank you, Alex, and all the contributors today. And even though you may not have said anything, we do appreciate your non-verbal communication and your supporting on the soul level, which we understand completely. Thank you very much.
God bless you all.
Thank you all.
everyone.
I love you, everyone.
Thank you.
Blessings to all.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
just a second reminder about the class that'll start the private teaching in the Kesh Foundation, 676-264-442. And Jalal will be conducting the deciphering of the Knowledge Seekers Workshop. This is an ongoing process, so please, if you can, attend, or even on the soul level, if you can attend. Send the good fields there so we all gain more and we share more. Thank you again.
Vámonos a la sala con Lily, muchachos. Hey, thank you very much all. See you, Mark, Jalal, in a few hours.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.